The next speaker is an one-on-one coaching expert. And we're going to go a little bit more rapid fire the next few speakers, I think 20, 25 minutes or something like that. And so it's going to move a little bit quicker, which is why we'd love to have everybody come back in the room here and take your seats, please, so that we can get started. I'm just going to wait 30 more seconds, okay? 30 seconds. Come on back in. What do you guys think? You guys having a good time so far? We've covered a lot. I mean, just between last night and this morning, we've covered a lot of ground. And our next speaker, well, you know what? We'll just go for it, okay? Our next speaker is a keynote facilitator. He's done conventions, meetings all around the world. G.A. Bartick leverages 3 decades of experience, knowledge, contagious enthusiasm to connect. That is the secret ingredient. Connect. Know your audience. Know your people. His belief in the value of customer service began when he was an executive at Nordstrom. And boy, do they connect, and do they know people in their audience, right? One of the nation's leading sales, customer service organizations. He's also the author of a national bestseller, Silver Bullet Selling: 6 Critical Steps to Opening More Relationships and Closing More Sales. Spending at least 40 weeks every year on the road, GA has successfully implemented hundreds of programs in sales, customer service, and other programs for clients like Google, Cox, Facebook, PIMCO, Time Warner, Merrill Lynch, MetLife, Oakley, University of Phoenix, and Expedia. And like we had mentioned earlier, one of his passions is one-on-one coaching with senior executives. He also happens to be the membership chair for EO San Diego. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president, CEO of R3 Consultants, G.A. Bartick. All right, go get him.
Would you all do me a favor? Would you all kindly please stand up? All right, please stand. Go to at least 3 different people, give them an enthusiastic but non-painful high five, and tell them that EO rocks. 3 people enthusiastic but non-painful high five, tell them that EO rocks. Dude, get it right here. Love it. All right, go back and have a seat. So in the room, we have a ton of leaders. And we've heard today a lot about what's happening in technology, what's going on with change. But really, when it comes down to it, as leaders, we really have to lead leaders. Would you agree? If you're going to be successful, how well are your leaders leading your team? That's what I want to talk today about. Really, what is happening? How can we become even just a little bit more effective at leading our team? Because that can lead to dramatic results. And have things changed? Absolutely. Take a look here if you would. This is 2005, the Vatican. All right, take a look at this shot right here, 2005. Let's just fast forward less than 10 years and look where we're at. Same place, the Vatican. What's the difference between this? See that little person down in the right-hand corner with their little flip phone? Now where are we today? So things are changing, and how are we changing, and how are we affecting our organizations as their leader? That's really what we want to talk about today. But really when it comes down to think about it though, it's really important to really understand that the significant problems we face today cannot be solved with the same level of thinking that created them. Now, for those of you that know me, I started my career at Nordstrom, and I was a salesperson in the ladies' shoes. And I have to admit to you that I wasn't very good. I was actually on a PIP. Anybody know what a PIP is? Shout out, who knows what a PIP is? Oh, you've been there before, have you? It's a performance improvement plan. Do they put you on that because they're killing it? Or not so much? A PIP is the dose of uno, dos, adios. It's the number 2 of 1-2 barbecue. So there I was on this PIP trying to make it, and what they had is what they called a second assistant manager job opened up. And so for 3 weeks, I worked my tail off. I got myself off of my PIP, and luckily I got hired as a second assistant. And I worked my way up, but I spent 11 years at Nordstrom really understanding the customer experience. But then I left Nordstrom and started selling real estate. I thought this will be great. I'll be up in Del Mar here. I'll learn everything there is to know about the California Association of Realtors purchase contract. They will buy from me because I have the gift of gab. Those are my initials. And my obvious good looks. And so I'm there for about 11 months. I'm working my tail off. And my boss says, hey, G, I can see you real quick. I'm like, sure, what's up? He goes, you know what? I love your enthusiasm. I love your work ethic. but I've been looking at the sales results, and I'm sorry, you've only sold one house in the last 11 months. I'm sorry, it's just not working out. And he turned around and handed me a cardboard box. I'm like, okay, no worries. I got a job selling eyewear. I thought this will be great. I'll be talking to ophthalmologists, opticians, optometrists. They will buy from, because I had the gift of, and my, thank you very much. And so I'm there 8 months. I'm working my tail. If I'm coming in early, I'm staying late. It's the last day of the month. My boss says, hey, GA, can I see my office real quick? I'm like, sure, what's up? Because you know what, GA? I love your enthusiasm. I love your work ethic. But I've been looking at the sales results, and I'm sorry, it's just not working out. What's right behind him? Another cardboard box. I said, no worries. I got a job selling corporate annual photography. I just got married. I was there 13 months. I made it a year. My wife is really excited. Last day of the month, November 30th. What's right behind my boss when he called me into his office? Another cardboard box. Let me ask you this. Anybody of you ever have a paper route growing up? Anybody ever have a paper route? How old were you guys? Oh, I'm among friends. How old were you had your paper routes? 11, 14. Folks, true story, I was 28 years old. Dude, this is my story. They're laughing at my life story here. The true story, at 28 years old, I wake up at 3 a.m. I'd go out and throw 137 Wall Street Journals up in Escondido. I'd come home about 6 a.m. My wife would hand us our baby daughter, Alicia. She'd go off to be a high school chemistry teacher, and I was off being a mortgage broker. But I was a broker. Why? Because I had no process. And I was simply winging it on my gift of gab and my obvious. And what we found out, though, that top performers, they don't wing it, do they? Almost always have a process. This right here is the international sign for process. You guys know what this is over here? That's wax on. But what's this over here? No, wax off is this way, Drew. It's this way. It's all about having the right process. So what we started to do is I started to observe, what do top performers do? And how do they create success? And over about a 4-year period, I interviewed about 6,000 top performers and found they almost always have a process in place. And from that, we ended up writing the best-selling book, Silver Bullet Selling. And it's really about the process. Let me kind of explain what I mean about having the right process in place. Can you guys all see what this is right here? What is this right here? Little 3x5 index card. Would you agree this card is smaller than my face? So it'd be pretty tough to cut a hole in it large enough to put my face through. Would you agree? But if you have the right process in place, along with the right tools, you can do something that a moment ago looked impossible to do. But if I follow my process, I can quickly, efficiently, and effectively, but more importantly, under pressure, create predictable results. So hopefully, if I follow my process correctly, I will come up with a predictable conclusion. In this case, it's a 3x5 card with a hole in it large enough to put my face through. Give me an ooh. Give me an ah. How was I able to do this? I had the right process. Now, here's the other thing, too. Did I have the right tools? But more importantly, did I need to practice that? And why did I need to practice that so much? So I can execute it when? Under pressure. Now think about it. How many of you have people in your organization that talk to customers? That's what our organization lives in three conversations. What's that frontline conversation look like between your frontline employee, salesperson, customer service person, billing person, tech person? What are they saying to that customer? That's the first conversation we live in. The second one is, how are your supervisors, how are they coaching that frontline employee to be better on the very, very next interaction? And the third one is, how do you take leadership's vision and create that vision across the entire organization? That's what we're doing right now for almost 10 years now with Google and YouTube and Hotels.com, Expedia, Time Warner. So the thing is, it's about having the right process in place. Now, here's the thing too. Think about it. Communication's a skill, but how much time do you actually practice your communication skills? Like, for instance, I was back there at break rehearsing in my mind how I was going to kick off this program. And folks, in my mind, it was beautiful. Every word was slowly articulated. Y'all laughed at the right time. But does something ever happen with you with what you think you're going to say and what you say are what? Sometimes two totally different things. So one of the things we believe in is how much time and effort and energy do you put into having your team actually practice their communication skills. And that's, we see most organizations by 1,000-fold underestimate the time, the energy, the effort it takes to become a great communicator. It's how do you take and go from verbal knowledge, go to a classroom, you might learn something, you might bring some sales trainers in. How do you go from verbal knowledge to verbal skill to verbal mastery? That's really what, at the end of the day, what it's all about. It's all about change, too. Would you all agree change is hard? Now, they've been talking a lot about change and where change is going. But think about it, too. Do we always do the right thing, or do you usually do what's most comfortable? Now, we all know that a diet filled lots of leafy green vegetables, a little bit of protein, not too much sugar, cakes, chocolate candy, get plenty of exercise, drink lots of clear liquids that's not vodka or gin. We all know it's the right thing to do. Would you agree? How many of us knowingly, joyfully, gleefully last night or looking forward to tonight have ingested stuff we know is not good for us? And how many cannot wait to do it again? The key is, though, change is hard, would you agree? I mean, as you can tell, I hate to work out. My whole philosophy is no pain, no pain. And do you guys know why I don't lift weights? They're heavy. All right. But here's what I want to talk about change, though. Do me a favor. Just cross your arms real quick. Just like the picture there. Just cross your arms real quick. Now just cross your arms. Now take a look. Are you right hand over left or left hand over right? Like I got my left over my right. Just go ahead and switch it. Now, how many of you went right back to where you were? So today, tomorrow, you're going to be hearing speakers talking about you, asking to do things just a little bit different. And what's going to be your inclination to do? To go right back. Why? Because change is hard. So I just want to walk you through a couple of elements that you can take back to your team, back to your organization come Monday. Number one is the whole belief system in coaching forward. How do you coach your team through the front windshield, not through the rear view mirror? And a couple of rules of a coach. Number one rule of a coach is get people to do more things right, not less things wrong. Now, my daughter, Carlin, she plays soccer, and she's 9 years old at the time, and she's playing left fullback. She's playing defense. And the entire first half, her coach, Shawnee, is running up and down the sideline, screaming, "Girls, stop kicking the ball to the middle. Quit kicking the ball to the middle." And when you play defense, you kick the ball to the middle, what do you kick it right in front of? So the ref blows the whistle for halftime. I'm like, "Carly, get over here, Carly." I'm like, "Carly, are you not listening to your coach?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, Dad." "Well, how come we keep kicking the ball to the middle?" And my 9-year-old little daughter looks up at me and she says, "Well, Dad, where am I supposed to kick the ball to?" I'm like, "Oh, hold on. Shawnee, get over here, Shawnee." That's her coach. I said, "Shawnee, you've been screaming the entire first half, 'Girls, stop kicking the ball to the middle.'" And she's like, "I know, and they keep doing that." Well, I'm like, "Well, why do they keep doing that? Where do you want them to kick the ball to?" She goes, "Up the sidelines." Then tell them that. How often do we coach to our team, don't do this, don't do that? Starting people, let them know exactly what you want them to do versus what you want them not to do. Because in the lack of knowing what to do, most people, A, do the minimum to get by, but they also make up what they think they should be doing. So rule number one of a great coach, get people to do more things right, not less things wrong. Rule number two is part of this whole coaching forward belief system here. It's quit coaching to the past and start affecting the future. So if I was over here and I had Jeff over here as my sales guy and I'm his manager, we go on a sales call. We get back in the car. What's the first question most managers ask Jeff, the sales guy, about the sales call they just went on? What's the first question they usually ask? "How do you think that went?" And Jeff says, "It went great." And the manager says, "I thought it went pretty good too. But Jeff, how come you didn't talk about a new product? We're spending all this time, energy, and money on this new product. You didn't even mention it." And what does Jeff say? He comes up with 37 reasons why he did not do something on that last call. And as we watch and observe this, people get defensive about the past. But can they get excited about the future? And really what happened on that last interaction, last phone call, that last meeting, we can't change as a coach, can we? All we can affect is what happens moving forward. So quit analyzing the past, start affecting the future. If I want to get Jeff to talk about a new product or service, "Hey, Jeff, on this next call, let's talk about this new product or service. Actually, you know what? Let's practice it." And here's the hard part, folks. I'm going to ask you to actually have your team practice out loud what they're going to say. Because I guarantee you, if they practice it right now in the car with me, they're going to do a lot better job under pressure in front of a high net worth client or a customer. All right? So again, most organizations underestimate how do you go from verbal knowledge to verbal skill to verbal mastery. So get people to do more things right, not less things wrong. Start coaching to the future. Quit analyzing the past. And then it's all about understanding the what and the why. The what and the why. Now, how many of you have teenage kids or once was a teenager? So my daughter Alicia at 19, she would come home from school. She was a freshman in college, living at home. She would go to the bottom of our stairs, take off her shoes, and what happened after 3 or 4 days at the bottom of my stairs? I'd have a dozen pairs of shoes there or so. So I'd sit there and say, hey, Alicia, can you please take your shoes up and put them in your room? And how would she respond to that? I'll do it later. Or she ignores me. So a little bit later, what do I have to say to her now? Alicia, get your shoes up in your room. All right, and she asks, why? And I say, yeah, because I said so. You guys have been there, have you? And how does she respond to that? She picks up the shoes, she stomps upstairs, she goes to the door of her room, she takes her shoes, she slams, throws them in the door, slams the door. All right, or I can give her the what and the why. What I want her to do and why I want her to do it. I can say, hey, Alicia, could you please take your shoes up and put them in your room? You know that I blew my knee out last summer. I had to have surgery on you. Hate for me to trip on your shoes and hurt my knee again, wouldn't you? And how does she respond when she gets the what and the why? Sure, Daddy. But here's also with your organization, this whole what and the why. It's about how do you communicate your business decisions? Because what we found out and do a lot of research on, in the lack and the vacuum of information, the what and the why, people go to the worst case scenarios. Ever happened in your organization? I was just working with Nevada State Bank in Vegas. They have 42 branches, and they're going to be closing 23 of them. 23 of the 42 of these branches are closing. What did the entire organization think was immediately happening? They thought they're going out of business. And so what did all the employees started working on what? Their resumes, exactly. So I sat down with Dallas on, the president of Nevada State Bank, and I'm like, Dallas, we have an issue. Everybody thinks the bank is going under. And he's like, why is that, GA? I said, well, we're closing 23 branches. And he's like, well, hey. So we actually had him go out, and he started doing some town halls. And he communicated to the organization that, yes, of the 42 branches, we are closing 23 of them, but here's why. Those 23 are all in-store branches. They're all in a market. They're either in a Vons or an Alpha Beta in Vegas. And they are raising the rent almost double. And of the 23 that we're closing, 19 have a Nevada State Bank brick and mortar store in the parking lot. So within 100 yards, we have 2 branches. So we don't think it's a good business decision to pay twice as much rent and to have 2 branches within 100 yards. That's where we're closing the branches down. It's going to displace about 4 employees total. We're going to get a lot more traffic in the branches, so we need to bring all the tellers, the staff from the markets branch into the brick and mortar branch. When he said that and gave people the what and the why, at the end of the town halls, people were coming up and they were thanking him for shutting down those branches because they saw the business reasons. So when you're talking to your clients and your company and your employees and you're thinking about a business decision, let them know what you're doing and why you're doing it. When you're coaching, let people know what you're doing, why you're doing it. Your employees, when they're talking to customers, make sure they're telling the customers what they're doing and why they're doing it. I got a new cell phone a couple weeks ago, bought it here in San Diego. I was up in Sacramento, and all day long my calls have been going right into voicemail, and I could not make any outbound calls too. I kept getting an error message. And so I got back to my hotel. It's like 2 minutes to 6 p.m. I hit star 611. I get a customer service person on the phone after I go through the IVR. I punch in my blood type, my name and my firstborn, my mother's maiden name. Finally, the person answers the phone and says, hi, how can I help you? And I said, I'm really fired up here. I bought this phone yesterday. I'm up in Sacramento. All day long, my calls have been going right into voicemail. I'm not receiving any inbound calls, nor can I make an outbound call. Can you please help me? He goes, absolutely, could you please hold? Now, at 1 minute to 6, what did I assume this gentleman is doing right now? I figured he's finishing his dinner. He's off at 6 o'clock waiting for me to hang up. I figured he's doing everything except what? So what do? I hung up. All right, so here's this thing about that. In the lack of information, the what and the why, where do most people go? To the worst case scenario. So just make sure you're giving people the what and the why, what they're doing and why they're doing it. All right, but you got to realize that success doesn't come to you. You have to go out and get it. That's why I love about EO, because we're surrounded by people who have actually gone out there and done it and make sure they get it. But it's all about belief systems too. It's about really understanding where you are, but more importantly, where you want to go. Anybody know who this is right here? That's Roger Bannister. Anybody know what did Roger Bannister do? First person in recorded history to break the 4-minute mile. Now, did he just go out one day and say, you know what, I'm going to go out and run the 4-minute mile? Or did he have to have a process? And so what he did on May 13th, 1954, went out, ran the mile in 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds. The belief system was before this that if you ran that fast for that long, your heart would be beating, boom, 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 boom. It would literally explode. That was the belief system. They thought it was physically impossible to run the mile that fast. He finally did it. Now, when he did it, he crossed the finish line. His heart was beating, boom, 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 boom. But did it explode? It actually did. No, it didn't. It would not be a good story if it did. No, but here's the thing, though. Did he just go out one day and say, I'm going to do it? Or did he have an entire process? It takes 4 laps to run a mile. He had a sprinter run each lap in front of him. Did he get it right the first time? No, it took him almost 2 years and 6 tries to break the 4-minute mile. But here's the thing, though. Once he broke the 4-minute mile, how long do you guys think he held his world record for? A year? Any other guesses? 90 days. Any other guesses? All right, it was actually 4 days. He did it 4 days later. Somebody else beat his world record. By the end of that month, 13 people had done. He was now 11th in the world. End of that year, 236 people ran the mile in under 4 minutes. Today, over 4,000 different people. Randy, I don't think you and I are one of them, are we? Randy, I need your help real quick. Come on up here if you'd be so kind. Give Randy a little appreciation here. Come on up here, my friend. You're not in trouble, my friend. All right, how's it going so far this morning?
Awesome.
You having fun? Working hard?
Yeah.
So where are you from, Randy?
Originally, or where do I live?
Where do you live right now?
San Diego.
Oh, love it. Good deal. Can you see what this stuff is right here?
Yes.
What is this?
It is packing tape.
This is nylon reinforced packing tape. All right. So if you can just get this up on the screen, please. So this stuff's pretty strong. Would you agree?
Yes.
All right. Give him one of these right now, if you would be so kind. There you go. I'm going to ask you. Oh, sure. Take that tape. Do you think you can take that tape and just break it apart in your bare hands just like this?
No.
But give it a shot. Just see if you can just break it apart. No, not like that. Straight across like this.
Like this? No.
All right. Let me ask you this right now, Randy. Can you break nylon reinforced strapping tape with your bare hands?
No, I cannot.
Would you all agree that's his belief system? We're going to see if we cannot change his belief system here in under 2 minutes. All right, Randy, I want you to take this piece of tape right here. I'm going to take one for myself. And I'll walk you through the skills transfer process to learn how to do this. All right, take that tape and put it sticky side up. Now take your 8 fingers and put it kind of in the middle with a couple inches in between. Now wave to everybody like this. That's just so that you make them look silly. All right, now take your fingers and point them towards yourself. Now push the tape up and crease it and go down about an inch or 2. All right, great. Now take your left hand, put it straight out like that, and put it back on that big knuckle. Push it back a little bit on that bigger knuckle there. Now close your fingers on the tape. Take that flap, put it on that flap underneath there. Now take your other hand, wipe it off really good. Take the tape down towards the bottom there. Take your knuckles together, put your knuckles like I have here, and bam, bust apart. Whoa. Randy.
You're ready.
Can you break nylon? Yeah, give him a little appreciation there.
Thank you.
Can you break nylon reinforced strapping tape with your bare hands?
I can do anything.
What just happened to his belief system there in under 2 minutes? Give him a little appreciation. Well done, Randy. Thank you kindly. Now, how was I able to change his belief system? All right, I gave him the process. Now, if I was a good coach, I may have him practice it a couple more times. But here's the thing, that the first time he tried it, how much effort did he actually give it? Even before he tried, he thought, I can't do it. So when I actually had him do it, he gave a little bit of effort, but not much. But now for the rest of your life, Randy, if anybody was to ever ask, can you break nylon reinforced strapping tape with your bare hands with enthusiasm, you're going to say, absolutely. That's what it's all about. It's about having the right processes in place. It's about helping your team be more effective by coaching through the front windshield versus the rear view mirror. Get people to do more things right, not less things wrong. Start affecting the future. Quit analyzing the past. It's really about making sure that you have your belief systems in alignment, but more importantly, it's taking the time, the energy, the effort to sit down with each one of your leaders and really show them how to become a great coach. Because that's the fulcrum point. in your organization. If your managers are great coaches, then think about how many interactions are happening today at your organization. And would you be proud if we listened to those interactions happening or not so much? Again, because becoming a great facilitator, a great communicator, it takes time, energy, and practice. And it's all about having the right belief systems there. So on behalf of myself, EO San Diego, the student and teacher in me truly honors and respects the student and teacher, each and every one of you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you kindly. Appreciate it.
Well done, GA.
All right, thank you.
Well done, brother. Good job. Wow, what a polished speaker. Isn't he great? Do you guys know what the number one fear is? Do you know what number two is? You guys, isn't that amazing that people would rather die than say anything in front of a group of people? Or I think that's fascinating. But the effective communication is huge, right?